This is a statue of Roger Casement. It was erected recently here on the shore in Dún Laoghaire. Casement was born in Dublin and lived for a time in Sandycove, County Dublin. He was in the British Foreign Office through the 19th, 20th century and extensive work abroad. He highlighted in reports of dreadful conditions of the Congolese at the time when Leopold, the King of Belgium, had it at his own private backyard, so to speak. Dreadful atrocities committed on the natives. One of his reports highlighted this, and eventually that the king had to relinquish. And later on, he worked in Peru with the rubber plantations. He saw the rubber plantations, saw the horrible ways people are being treated there. Dreadful human rights abuses, very similar to the Congo. Also successful in having those abuses stopped, and unfortunately really nobody was prosecuted years and decades later on either side. Casement gave up with our imperialism and lost faith in it. He became involved in Irish nationalism, travelled to the United States and met John Devoy. Plans to bring weapons back to Ireland for the Easter Rising, 1916 Easter Rising. That didn't actually succeed, although the German Secret Service at that time was actually quite successful in the United States, but it was eventually caught and wound up, or mostly caught and wound up. Casement travelled to Germany and tried to raise a brigade of soldiers to fight against the British Army and British prisoners of war camp. Was relatively unsuccessful with that. Very small numbers volunteered, because the men who, if they were captured, they'd face execution as traitors if Britain won. Casement came back to Ireland on a U-boat. He dropped off off the coast of Kerry. Was very weak and wasn't able to move, and was arrested. He was eventually sent to Britain, to Brixton Prison and then to Pentonville. Casement was charged with high treason, sentenced to death and hanged. In the 1960s, his body was repatriated back to Ireland with full honours, full military and civil honours. Casement did a lot of work in his time in the Foreign Office to expose human rights abuse of an appalling magnitude. It's unspeakable what was done to people in the rubber plantations in the Congo and the rubber plantations in Peru. He's rightfully respected in Ireland and has a deserved position in Irish history, and it's only very fitting that a statue to his memory is placed here in Dún Laoghaire, looking across to Sandycove, where he lived for a time. There's a great deal of Casement's life. I've just gone through it very briefly. Great deal on the man's life and his work. Is well worth searching, well worth spending time to read and to research on. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe. Till the next time, thank you.